We have another question from one of the youth in the audience.
Hi, my name is Gael, and that point was really interesting about raising the age limit is going to help marginalized communities. And me myself, I was raised by a single immigrant mother who I sometimes have difficulty speaking to her in our own native language about my more complex emotions, right? And my first point is, it seems like the internet is social media. Google isn't the internet. Internet culture is Instagram, is Twitter. That is the internet. And so when we think about a play-based childhood, shouldn't we be redefining what childhood is in the digital world? And maybe it isn't about purely being offline, but mixing the worlds of how can we learn to spend our time online, but how can these companies encourage the offline? So it's a mix of both of those worlds, because even when I think about the fact that, yes, I do wish I had a parent that taught me how to navigate the digital world instead of having to find that out on my own, I think about, well, if we raise the limit on the age, that means I would have never got access to the resources that allowed me to understand how to navigate the digital world because my parent couldn't teach me that. So how do you approach that when you feel like you kind of have to go into this treacherous environment to learn how to really navigate everything? I mean, who takes that responsibility if your parents can't help? Are we now looking at, yes, the tech companies, but policy? How do we navigate that?
Gail, I want to pick up on your point because I love what you said about there's really no distinction, and it is an adult distinction of offline and online world. I mean, that doesn't make sense for people who have grown up and are immersed in this. It's just, the people you talk to and interact with in real life are often the people that you interact online. And that what you said about YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, that is the internet for your generation, right? It's not that you're going to Google to find information. Like, that is a culture. So if young people are shut out of those spaces, my question is, where will they go? And do they go into less regulated spaces? So the chance we have to make this a healthier culture and environment is out in the light of day. And I get your points, John, that dealing with tech companies is not dealing in the light of day, and it takes a heavy stick to regulate. And there are awful neighborhoods, right, in the real world too, where and many Black parents report for their young sons feeling safer about their children being in those online spaces than offline, and a number of the work that Dana Boyd and others have done. So I think we need to be careful about thinking about this distinction, how adults think about it, right, in terms of the internet, Googling and finding out information. Delivery is happening on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube, right? Young people are not